So but when you see them swinging, like a, like all that, like landing, like all that stuff. Those are all ADR actors if they don't pick it up on production, right?
Hello, everybody. My name is Gemma. Welcome back to Gemma Watches Stuff. And of course, this is the podcast called I Don't Know What We're Talking About. And today we're hanging out with Imari Williams, who, of course, has absolutely no idea what he's doing here or what we're talking about today. He has sent me a few topics. As regular watchers will know, what happens is I receive 5 topics in advance from our actor, and on the day of the recording, I surprise them during the recording of what we're actually going to be talking about. And
Awesome.
Mari, your topics that I got are fantastic. Very broad, very wide. I am really excited though to see if you had a favorite or if I picked the one that you're hoping we were going to talk about today. Is always
Okay.
my favorite part of this. And the topic from the list of 5 that I received that I really want to dig into today with you was the first time you tried to be an on camera actor.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that one was so I always acted. I always did school plays and I always was like, excuse me, I was always in like, productions for school and all that stuff. But in main school, I had ADD. And so I kind of bounced around different places and landed at this one place that was like basically for people with learning disabilities. And from there, I was like, dude, I want to like do something. Like I loved art. I was all totally into art. I was totally into acting, and I was like, I found out this school that is like basically a magnet school, and it's called LA High School for the Arts. And it's basically like you audition to get into that school. And so I begged my parents. I was like, please, 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 can I get into that school? And they were like, and I really want to go there for acting, but I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, so everyone in Los Angeles, especially growing up, me growing up, was like, they ever want to be an actor. My parents are kind of old school, so they're like, well, if you go to the school, you have to go, because they thought that would be like play. You basically like you have part of your day academics, and then you would do your art. And they kind of look at that as playtime, which it is playtime, but you are learning a skill. And so they were like, well, if the only way you can go there is if you can do something that you can make money with after you graduate. And I was like, all right, well, I knew if I were to say acting, they'd be like, oh, well, how are you going to make money doing that? How are you going to make money doing that? So I was like, okay, I'll go for visual arts because I loved art. I'm a comic book nerd. I love like all that stuff. So I went there. So anyway, I go there. And like I graduate, have a visual arts degree, but I really want to do acting. That's what I really want to do. And my mama was like, okay, all right, fine. I'll send you to some acting classes. So I went to this woman, studied with her for 2 years. Her name's Leslie Kahn, and she's a really good coach over here in Los Angeles. And I I studied, like I was really feeling it. I met Forrest Whitaker when I worked at the Beverly Center. Like I met him and his family. I would meet all these famous people. So I was like, the universe is really pushing me to be an actor. And and then like came time, I got my headshots and stuff. And then came time to really start auditioning. And I got sent this one thing. I didn't have an agent, but I got sent this one casting. And I went to the casting and I'm 6'3". I'm a big bone dude. I'm not exactly like, I'm not 5'10". I'm not like, I'm not like this preemie guy. And back in like, the early 2000s, people were really like about, height wise, they were like 5'10". All the brothers who were there were like either like buff and leading man looking, or you were like relegated to like certain roles, like, the bouncer or the football player or the whatever, whatever role like a black dude can get before it kind of opened up and it has been more just diversified, going forward. Well, for men and women, because now it's like a lot of like people want to see the real people. They don't want to see like, some polished, person, right? But in my head, I'm going to these auditions and I'm like, I'm nowhere near. I don't look like any of these guys. So I got in my head about it. I got in my head. I got one of the first audition, and I was like, I think I just kind of blew it. I just was like, I was kind of like just in my head about it. And then for like my 20s, I just fucked around. I just was like, I just dropped. I dropped trying to be on camera altogether. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, I just started fucking around, and it wasn't until I don't know if I'm going too broad. Am I going too broad? I'm sorry, I'm trying to turn the air in here.
No,
Am I going too broad past the topic, or can I
no,
expand?
no, no,
Yeah.
you're good. Keep going. Yeah, that's great.
So I So I am a voiceover artist, and so what I did was in my 20s, I messed around, had no idea what I wanted to do. Went to a life coach, and she was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I was encroaching 30, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I'm like I didn't. I went to city college for 6 years. Um, I just was like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I go to a life coach, and she's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, ultimately, deep in my bones, I want to be an actor. If I'm going to be honest, you know." And she's like, "Well, maybe we can do something that's within the realm that makes sense, that's within the area." Like that you can make money on, right away, right? Because it takes time to make money as an actor. And I was like, well, I always loved editing, and I always loved, I love movies. I love putting together. I would always love to, what a director does, and maybe that's a skill I can learn and turn into like, making money. Because I'm approaching 30, I was like, I want to have kids. I eventually want to have kids. I want to, raise my kids the way my parents raised me, which is, middle class lifestyle, access to schools, and all that good stuff. And so I I followed her advice. I got a job at this place called Cosmo Street, which I'm still employed to this day. I do what they call scratch tracks, where they have like an understudy track that they need, and I'll like read it for them if they want it. Sometimes I use it, and sometimes I'll book the gig, sometimes I won't. Um, and I was like, okay, well, I went there. I took a class in editing because they edit there. They edit commercials and stuff. So I took an editing class. My first editing class, I fell asleep. I was so bored, so bored. And I sold them on this. And then I was like, shit, I don't want to be an editor, man. I don't want it. I don't like it. It's boring. I'm falling asleep. So luckily the owner, her name's Yvette Covarrubias. She liked me. She like said I was good with clients and stuff. So she kind of kept me in the company, moved me around. All along the line, I'm doing more scratch tracks for all the editors. And then one day I booked a gig from like this one scratch track that I did, and that turned into like, so what would happen is other editors would bring me in to read scratch tracks for them, and then I started booking their stuff, and then I started getting more and more, and I got enough to get an agent, and from there that's how I got into voiceover acting basically. So I pivoted from on camera, long story short, on camera to voiceover actor. And now I'm back to wanting to be on camera. So now I'm like actively trying to get on camera right now. So it's like it's just, it's weird how life goes, you know?
I love that. You've gone such a non-direct path to where you were trying to be, and like obviously it's taken some time to then figure out and navigate where exactly you were trying to go and what that was going to look like. Was the
Exactly.
catalyst to try and, because I love that you were like in your 20s, you really just like, you didn't care. You felt like you blew it for your first audition, and then after that, you were just mucking around, living life, doing whatever you were doing. Was the
Yeah.
catalyst to then start taking things more seriously? Was it your age? Because you mentioned a few times as you were talking about turning 30, and that was like the big thing that made you go, "Oh, I need to
Yeah.
like pull my finger out and get some work done." Was it the idea of getting older and not having a more established career, the
Yeah.
kick to kind of keep going?
Definitely.
Yeah,
It was more like it was more like both I have four sets of well, I have sets of parents. I have my mom and my second father, and my biological father and my second mother. And they're all professionals. They've all graduated school. My biological dad's a doctor. My second father is a psychologist. My mama is graduated with communications major, but she like worked in news and was a manager. She now is the director for the senior center in Pasadena. And my second mother is a doctor in kinesiology. So like they have all these things, and I did not, I'm like I do not like that route for school. I just did not see me doing anything. If I'm gonna be honest, I did not see me in the office. I did not see me doing anything traditional, but I feel like I had to because that was the route that everyone else around me took, right? So I try to entertain it. That's why it took me six. We have what they call junior college here, which is like you take a course and you transfer to like a regular 4 year. And I took I spent 6 years in city college, changing my stuff, changing what my focus. So I was in city college for 6 years, never graduated college. I'm encroaching 30. I'm like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing?
yeah,
And so that was just more like, I always thought that I would have what my parents gave me. And then I realized I'm almost 30, and I'm like, well, how am I going to have that if I have no form, if I don't have any kind of concrete education, concrete direction? So that's basically like where that came from. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just start thinking outside the box. And yeah, and that's how everything started. Everything kind of like started rolling from there,
Yeah.
from that one decision.
Yeah. Well, thinking outside of the box has certainly led you to some cool places. Like if you check out your IMDb and some of your credits, just Google you. You've got an amazing, rap on IMDb. Looking through all of your credits, I'm like, you've got commercials in there. You've got a whole lot of like games and voiceover work for different like platform games. You've got you're even in voiceover for like huge series like Transformers and Star Wars. Like you've got some
Yeah.
massive, credits there for voice work under your belt. Are there any that have been I mean, I can ask your favorite, but I feel like that's such a generic question. Everybody's like, "Oh, what's your favorite?" But I also want to know which one was enjoyable, but also which one was most challenging for you. Did you have a role or a voiceover or a project that you were like, "Wow, this is really hard"?
Man. Well, my first one would have to be Transformers Rescue Bots. That was the first show that I ever booked.
Yeah.
And I still talk to the cast members to this day. I booked that in 2012 and that ran until like no, 2010 and it ran to 2016. It
Wow.
ran for 6 seasons. And I met really good mentors. I met Luke Skywalker. If people don't know, I mean, I don't know why you just said that, but that's he's like whatever. Yeah, Mark Hamill worked on the series, so that was like a lifelong, like that's like one of my childhood,
Yeah.
you know, heroes.
Yeah.
But along this line of that, I worked with Steve Bloom, Parvesh China, Lacey Chabert, who I knew from Party of Five, and I was like, had like a huge, massive crush, and she's now if she ever hears that, Lacey, I'm sorry. She's like a sister to me now. Like, so like, but before I was like, oh my God, Lacey Chabert. Oh, and then she became like a sister to me. And then I immediately felt icky for even having any kind of like, crush whatsoever because she became like a sister to me. Um, Steve Bloom, who has a million credits, prolific, awesome VO artist, awesome human being, a big brother to me, Maurice LaMarche, who was Pink in the Brain. He just plays Brain for Pink in the Brain. He plays a shrew for Zootopia. Um, God, Shannon McCain. Both him and I it was our first voiceover acting role that we got. So that we were two, and then Jason Marsden, who was the cat in Hocus Pocus, who was Goofy's son and he's Max for Goofy and Max. So all these people, and I'm learning from them, and I'm like absorbing what they do, and I'm like, God, I'm so like, because I was just starting out, and I was just so green, and I was just like, so I was like, kind of learning from them. So that was sort of like, yeah, that was I would say that has to be my favorite series, and that'll always be my favorite because we talked to this day, and I gained a family off of that, but I did not know that that was very rare. I was like, oh, I thought everything was like that. Oh, we used to go for dinners afterwards. And they'd be like, oh man, I can't believe we're going for dinners. We never do this stuff. And I was like, really? So I got really spoiled with that first experience. And that was it. In terms of toughest role, man, I would say one tough role was like my first video game that I did was it's called Asura's Wrath. And I played this guy named August. And August's character screams the entire time. He is just like, "No, no, like, oh, give me wine and women and battle, and that's what I want, and all, la." So it was just like that for like three different sessions. And I was like, holy shit. That was like, because it was like, because you don't want to like act like you don't have the stamina. It was my second video game. First video game being Resident Evil Raccoon City. And I was like, you want to make sure that people know that you can handle it, that you can handle the pressure. And I was like, dude, I was like about to die on that voice. That was the first one. That was probably one of the most difficult. Then also, I would say I did ADR for Planets of the Apes, the newest one, and I play this orangutan that's in the movies. Like he's like the kind of like the heart of the group. And I had to do a death scene for him. Sorry, spoilers for anyone who wants to see Planet of the Apes, but the dude dies.
It's been enough
And
time. You should have seen it by
yeah,
now.
yeah,
If
it's
you
been
haven't seen
time.
it
Yeah,
by
yeah.
now, it's too late. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so uh I had to he gets drowned in a river. And it was like, but okay. First off, all these like do all these freaking noises for 6 hours and like like screaming and stuff. And then I had to do this because I did him and also did the main villain. And then what they call is efforts, right? So in movies, when you mic up an actor, and let's say they have a fight scene, right? You won't exactly hear them throwing a punch, right? They'll kind of like they'll just film it, but they won't be mic'd up, so you can move around and stuff. And then afterwards, they add those efforts in. So when you see like the movie, like for instance, I do ADR for The Rock. I've done like 7 movies of him. So, but when you see them swinging, like a, like all that, like landing, like all that stuff. Those are all ADR actors if they don't pick it up on production, right? So I'm doing all these ape ADRs, and then comes this dude's death scene, and he drowns in a river. And we want to make it extra emotional. We must have recorded that thing 10 times, and it was like no, like just gurgling and stuff. Then they give me water, like here, why don't you gurgle some water? Like so, you're like, so here I'm chugging water, like water splitting all out, water's coming on down, and and that was like, so I would say, and then afterwards, I was like, I almost tapped out, almost tapped out. I almost was like, you know what? I think after 4 hours, I was like, I think I'm ready to go home now. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna ruin my voice if I keep on going. And then I was like, nope. The ego in me was like, nope. Nope. They hired me. I'm gonna do it. And so I followed it through. And then I promptly lost my voice that night. And then in the morning it was a little hoarse. And then, but then I kind of like, took green tea, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But yeah, so I would say those 2 jobs were probably like one of my hardest jobs that I did.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question. I'm like, in the process of doing work like that, I don't think most people know how much effort and like physical stamina that you need to actually do the job like that. I think most
Yeah.
people, they would be really surprised to learn that, there are, additional voices for the, your oomph sound effects when you're in a fight. I don't think most people, realize how much work and effort goes into that kind of thing. Do you have a process or something that you specifically do to take care of yourself in order to do work like that? And like you already mentioned, you lost your voice that night. And what do you do to like maintain your vocal cords and look after yourself, physically when you're doing hours and hours on end doing that kind of
Well,
work?
everything is different for ADR, right? So that would just happen to be very vocally strange because there's a lot of excerpts, a lot of like loudness that you shout. You try to go from the diaphragm, honestly. Like when you're doing something like that, you want to try to go from the diaphragm and not from your throat. And that's like sort of like leading from like here, just like a singer would, right? Like you don't want to like sing from here, you want to sing from here, from like the bottom right here. So you try to do that with your VO. Try to like get it from right here, and so it passes there. But after a while, this is a muscle. Your diaphragm's a muscle, and muscles get tired. So afterwards, it's going to transfer a little bit to your throat. It's just going to happen. So it's just more of like the matter of like saying like, hey, I feel vulnerable right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, can people listen? Or a good director will be like, hey, do you need to take a break? Do you need to do that? You know what I'm saying? And then you have like a lot of VO people because we really want to be in there. We really want to show people that we can do it. So a lot of us will just kind of like, no, I got it. So it's basically just knowing what your limits are and saying, yo, I just need a break and establishing boundaries like any workplace. And then taking that rest when you need it. And if you can't go anymore, don't go anymore. Do not. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you feel like that's the end, then that's the end. But to be macho and to lose your voice and forego another job because you try to be like, you try to be like hardcore. No, it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. What in all of the different stuff you've done, because like we mentioned, like you've done games, voiceovers, like for TV shows, commercials, games. Like, has there been like are there differences in your like not only preparation but like actually doing the work between doing a commercial or between doing a voiceover for your additional voices, or whether or not you're playing a character for a game or the TV show like Star Wars or Transformers, you were one particular recurring character. Are there different things that you do for like preparation or actual, when you are performing and
Yeah.
doing the work? Are there different things that you have to do to prepare?
You know, a knowledge of what the property you're going into does wonders because it helps cut out the wonder or the guessing work of what people want. So like for instance, like if I have something for Bud Light or something like that, I'm gonna look at past Bud Light ads and see who they've chosen for those Bud Light ads. Right? Like how is their delivery? Are they too bombastic? Are they not bombastic? Is it a straight read? Like you have reads where it's like, you'll have reads like like where it's very, very simple, and it's like, we're gonna speak very simply and plainly to you because we don't want to force you to buy our product, but we would really love for you to check it out. So no pressure. Go ahead and buy this product and blah 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 blah. And then you have stuff like at Planet Fitness, we love the way you look. So come on in, make sure you get your pump on and get right to work. Yeah, Planet Fitness. That's the like that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it just depends on like what it's for, and then you kind of prep for that, or it helps you like figure out how to approach an audition. When it comes to like animation, most if it's a new animation, most of the time you're not going to see anything. You're not going to see what the character looks like. You're not going to see because they want to keep that under wraps. They don't want any of those images getting out. Maybe back in the day you would get a few more, but more and more you're having people describe what the character's like as opposed to what they are. Now for video games, you'll sometimes you get an image of the character, for dubbing, like if I'm dubbing an anime, then I know the property already exists. So for like certain things, like if I know there's a cartoon that's already out there, you can just look at the cartoon and see what kind of characters they have and how far people push it and what they want, you know? A cartoon like Rick and Morty will be different from a cartoon like, you know, Vampirina from Disney Junior. There's going to have different tones, or Castlevania on Netflix. You're going to have different tones, different things. They're very real for Castlevania. All the characters are very like there's nothing like, it's very measured and very blah blah blah. They speak mostly like in a transatlantic accent. It's not exactly English. It's not exactly what's it's very, you know. And then like for other stuff, you might have more of like a character voice, right? Like for instance, I did like this one gargoyle on on Vampirina. Well, I just mentioned that, but I did a gargoyle on there, and he sounds more like this. I'm a gargoyle, and blah blah blah, like a little bit more bombastic. And so you have like different properties have different amounts of energy and ways to approach it. So yes, I mean, whenever if anyone's starting out in voiceovers, if they're wondering about something, always do your research, because if you can find something, for instance, you heard me play that Barry White popped up when we're starting to get right, this thing called for a Barry White kind of voice, and Barry White's very like he's not like deep, he's not like yeah, my name's Barry White, blah 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 blah. But Barry White sounds kind of something back here, so he kind of like he has it right here, and he gets really like deep, and he takes his time, and he doesn't really rush it, and blah 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 blah. So then you try to emulate that, because a lot of times when they say they want something like that, they don't want the exact thing, but they want that within the spirit of it. Yeah. So
Very cool. And that gives you a lot of opportunities to then sort of be creative. Like you get to experiment a lot. You get to like move the voice around and see where it fits and see where it feels right. And I guess that's
yeah,
the creative part and the fun part of it is to get the exact tone that you want to use and get to experiment and see what character fits with that voice and how you can
yeah.
make it match. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's fun, but it's stressful because when you're auditioning, you want the job, right? So then what we do is we're like, oh my God, is it enough? Is it enough? Did I do it enough? Did I do it enough? And like there comes a point where you're just gonna have to like lay it down and then send it and then just like move on. You have to be able to be confident, make your decisions, you can give several, normally you can give different takes. So if you have different ideas that you have for this voice, not just one, you give several takes. If you feel like you only have one take in you, then for me, I just do one take. I don't try to force a second take if I'm just to put something else on there. So it's very like it varies from job to job.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. I have another question for you. And before we get into that, I thought now might be a good time where we pause and we play our game.
Oh,
This is a
nice.
game called This or That. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two different options. It's very straightforward, two different
Okay.
things. And you have to pick one and explain why you picked that one. Very
I
straightforward.
like it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Cool.
First one for you,
Yep.
summer or winter?
Oh my God, dude. Oh, no spring in there, huh?
No
Only summer
spring.
and
You
winter.
got to choose the extreme, summer or
Oh,
winter.
winter.
Ooh, okay. Why?
I am a big man and I sweat very easily. And so during summertime, it's shorts and shirts. You know what I'm saying? Shorts, shirts, cut off shirts. It's linens, it's fabrics that breathe, it's dark colors that don't show sweat spots from my back when I get hot because that's the first thing that goes. Um, I love the layer. I love clothes. I like to accessorize. I love to wear vests with shirts, and I love to wear like, pants and boots and all that stuff. And the weather usually comes that. I also love traditions that come with winter. I love Christmas time. I love, holidays like Thanksgiving. I love, when those days you can kind of reconnect with your friends, and it's kind of like the end of a very hard pressed year, or hard fought year, and so you're just winding down. So I kind of like that whole people take a breath and unwind a little bit, and then we start the new year off, right? So it's sort of like a shedding of the old guard and like the introduction into something new. So I will say I get romantic. I love aspects about summer. I love how it's spicy. I love, like, people seem to have more energy, right? You have a little, you travel a little bit more. I do not like hot. I don't like saunas.
Yep.
I don't do it. I don't like, my wife is Swedish and they love saunas, and I'm like, dude, I'm good. I mean, I did it just because, like, it's good for your skin and all that stuff, but like for me to sit there, no. Now, if it's like really, really, if it's really, really cold, then I'll go in the sauna. Like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool. But I have friends who sauna during the summer, and I'm like, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? No.
I
It-
think I think you're welcome to come visit Australia anytime, but I'm putting it out there right now. I don't think you're gonna have a good time, especially if you're like end of the year, winter, cold, great. I'm like
oh,
end of the year, summer, scorching, hot.
Scorching hot. No, I know. I have my friends, my Aussie friends. I know. I know it's like hot as hell.
Yeah,
And
we're at we're about 40 degrees here today, which is about 104 Fahrenheit.
yeah.
That's where
Fuck.
we're sitting at.
It's
Yeah,
a
no, you're
hundred and
there.
it's 104 out there right now.
Yes, today, yeah. At the moment,
Holy
it's 9:30 in the morning for me currently, so we're still warming up. But today's temperature is supposed to be around 40 degrees Celsius, which is
God.
104. 100,
Yeah, man. 40 degrees Celsius is nasty.
yeah,
32 degrees Celsius is nasty, but 40 degrees, that is insane,
that's what
man.
I mean. You come visit, come hang out in Australia, but like, I don't think you're gonna like it very
You
much.
know what though? I would brave it. I would brave it because I just wear some shorts, man. You know what I'm saying? Put the sunscreen on, wear some shorts. Freaking Aussies know how to party. The food scene I hear is fantastic.
Yes,
I've always
yes,
wanted to go down there.
yeah.
There's a thing I called gujitsu. Gujitsu. It's like it's a toy line,
Yes.
and I and they record it in Australia. I haven't recorded for a while,
Mm,
but like I had all the Aussie queens who were like on there. They would record me, so they would record in the morning. I would be over here like around this time.
yeah, yeah.
But they tell me all about, like, the stuff that's going on, and oh my God, it's a scorcher, and
Scorcher.
I'm like,
Yeah. That was good. That was
oh.
some good Aussie accent right there. That was great. It's a scorcher. Yeah, well done. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I've always wanted to have the Christmas winter experience because summer, doing Christmas in summer, is all obviously all I've ever known living in Australia. That's what we do. But the culture and traditions around Christmas to
Yeah,
experience that in a winter climate would be really cool. And I think you would
I I
enjoy the
I
summer Christmas as well.
I cannot, like, fathom. I always forget. I'm like, yes, you guys don't get that. Like, you guys aren't raised with that, and that has to do something. That has to, like, when you like have a certain, like, energy, or you have a certain, like, traditions that you do with a group of people, right? But then you have a whole swath of people whose experience and whose reality is totally different from what you experience, and you don't realize that because that's not you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can't even fathom having wintertime when it's almost 104 fucking degrees. That's just unbelievable. That is insane to me. But then, as also, that would be kind of cool to, like, do you guys have Christmas trees? You guys have Christmas trees out there, or do you guys do that?
Fake ones. We put up fake Christmas trees. Nowhere in
Like,
Australia have I ever known anyone to have a real Christmas tree.
really?
Really, really.
So they don't import them in, or they don't like, no, no,
No.
of course not. I mean, that's
Oh,
like the whole different climate.
it's too hot.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
right.
it's
Oh,
bushfire season. Like we're in bushfire season in Christmas, so it's like you wouldn't even go camping. You can't even light a fire to go camping. Like it's no
oh,
fire at all. So like we wouldn't. Yeah, no. Everything's or Christmas trees you buy from the shop. You go get a plastic Christmas tree. Yeah.
wow, man, wow,
Well, see,
yeah.
that's what I mean. There would be 1,000 different things. This is a whole tangent of a conversation. I love it. There's like you could get like 1,000 different things between if we were to like compare Christmases, things that I would be like, wow, that's insane, and
Right.
you would have the same response to things we do here. But yeah,
Yeah.
no real trees at all. Everything's just yeah, fake Christmas trees. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, we have fake Christmas trees here. Like, I have friends who are like, they love their fake. They keep them up like maybe half the year after Christmas is done. I'm like, it's almost like a lover that's been gone. Let her leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, let. Why are you holding on? Why are you holding on to like? Why are you holding on to old memories, baby? Like it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? I have there's a person next door. They still got their Christmas tree up. I was walking my dog. I'm like, oh,
No, I I only put mine away a week ago. I only packed down the Christmas tree like a week ago. What do you do with the real tree though at the end of Christmas time? What do you do with it? Because it's a
but
living
people. I know it's okay. So
tree.
this is so sad. So it's like for me and Christmas trees, I feel so sad because you see these, you get this really beautiful tree, right? And it's still like, it's still like alive, or it's still taking water. It's still like, uh supple and soft, and so I feel a duty to keep that thing alive as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you watch it, water it, I talk to it. It's so weird. Hey, like, oh, talk to it, water it, and then slowly, like, as it smells better, that means it's dying, poor thing, because then what happens is you're getting, like, the leaves are kind of like are going, and they give off that pine smell. They give it off when they're alive, but like more so when they start going. So when it starts really kicking, I'm like, oh man, this is probably like the last leg. So after that, we put it out in the alleyway, and then the city recycles it. They come over and they collect all the trees and stuff.
Wow. So you even mentioned like two or three things there that I would have never thought about. The smell, like they see, I wouldn't have a clue that they actually smell like the pine smell that you get from a
Smells
wood.
like pine. It's the
Like
most
there you
beautiful smell,
go.
man. It's,
Yeah.
it's like it's like you have some trees that don't smell, and then you have trees that do smell. One time we got a tree that didn't smell. It drove me freaking crazy. I don't smell it. I don't smell anything. Like, it
If
smell
you
like fresh pine.
if you want a pine smell, you got to go get a candle.
Yeah,
Like,
I
like
mean,
where
I can only
like
imagine.
that's so foreign to me. Like, oh, it would smell like your Christmas tree would smell. I'm like, what? Real tree.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Or like thinking about water, the fact that you would have to have water underneath, and
yeah.
how do you even set that up in your house? Like, this is so crazy to me. I'm
They
like,
have they have
that's
what they
nuts.
call like a tree boot, and it's like a reservoir, and you put the tree. What they do is when you get the tree, they'll put the boot on, and then you go home. You put it on your car. You tie the car down, and then you take the tree home. You lift it up. You're like, oh, these takes two people.
Mhm.
Um, Set it down. You put some water in it. You go underneath the tree. You put some water in it. They have some stuff that you can put in to help like get the tree keep the tree living longer. And yeah, that's just kind of stuff.
Nah, you go to the shops, you buy a tree, it comes in a box, you stick the box in your car, you go home, you unbox it, you put
I
it
mean,
on
that
the tree,
sounds
and there
so
you
cool.
go.
It sounds so effortless. Yeah, it sounds great. It's
That's so
proportionate.
complicated.
Yeah, it's proportionate. It's symmetrical. It's cool.
I think we need to do a swap. I think I'll go there for Christmas, you come here for Christmas, and we'll see how we go.
That would be a cool TV show. The Holiday Swap on Holiday Swap on TLC on the TLC network. Like one of those.
Brilliant. All right. That was the first out of three questions. We've got very derailed, but I
Oh,
absolutely
cool.
love it. We're going to get on to the second one now.
That's like my AD. Sorry, that's my ADD. I
Oh
get
no, I
like a
love
little
it. I love it. It's great. That's why this podcast is all about chaos. I'm all for some derailment and conversation. It's always lots of fun. The
nice.
next question I have for you: a road trip or a flight?
Oh, fudge. Oh my goodness. Oh, a place to live or a road trip? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're getting into? Because you always want to come home.
Well, no, to take a road trip. So if you have to travel, would you prefer to take a road trip or a flight, like go on a plane? Take
Oh,
one
oh, oh,
flight
oh,
to
oh, oh, oh,
there.
flight. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, give me a flight. Give me the flight. Give me that flight, baby.
that
The
was
give me, give
easy.
me, give me. Like, let me. I like to go to the airport. I like to have, if I have time, I like to have like maybe a Bloody Mary or like a little margarita, depending on how long the length the trip is. And yeah, no, that I mean, I do like a nice road trip because I usually have music and you kind of like reconnect that way. But if someone can say, hey, you want to fly or road trip, I get there faster and I can start partying where my destination is. Oh no, I'll go flight. I'll definitely flight. Cheaper, you don't have to drive and for gas and stuff. Yeah. If someone was like, yo, or even San Diego, that's like maybe like 2 hours away from here driving. If someone says, yo, do you want a plane trip or do you want to drive down the middle? Give me the plane. That's cool.
For
That's
a
30 minutes.
for a 2 hours away, you would rather take a plane.
30-minute flight. I get down there. I freaking get to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no traffic. There's nada. There's no freaking crazy
Oh,
people. I do, but I don't get me wrong. I do love a nice road trip. I'm not saying I like road trip, but if you're gonna give me the option, if you're like, we're gonna go to New York, do you want to fly or road trip? I'm flying. I'm gonna fly on that plane. Las Vegas, 5-hour drive. I'll get there in 30 minutes. You know. Are you a road trip? You're a road trip
I
girl.
think, oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
well, I also
yeah.
think it's a bit of an Aussie culture thing. I think most people, there could be some Australians who might shoot me for saying this, but I think most people would agree. In Aussie, we have more of a culture of driving and road tripping than flying. I think because for
Yeah.
us, based on, you're weighing up the cost of fuel, gas, whatever,
Yes,
the
yes.
cost of
Yeah.
petrol versus the cost of the airfare itself. I think,
Right.
especially considering the layout of Australia as well, all of our big cities, all of our capital cities where majority of the better airports are all on the coast because we're a desert.
Okay.
There's nothing in the middle of the country. So if you're trying to get somewhere that's not one of our big cities around the
Right.
coastline of our country, you drive. There is no other option. Like,
Okay.
yeah, there are
Okay.
small airports, in other cities that aren't, the big capital cities of our country, but the I think it's just a different culture in how we travel. People still fly. Don't get me wrong. Like, if people are trying to get from Sydney to Brisbane or whatever, you'll catch a flight, sure.
Right.
But I think when it comes to like family holidays or family vacations, or even just traveling or visiting friends, or you know traveling for work or things like that, I think it's people mostly drive just because of the
Right.
layout of our country and where all of our
Well,
airports
I'm not surprised. I mean, like
are.
the
Yeah,
Aussie folks a little bit, you all got different, like, you guys are built different a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You guys got like guys that might have like a little more gung ho attitude, a little bit more like, like I have all my Aussie friends love a nice good party. They love a nice good, they love a nice good Barbie, a freak, like hanging out with friends and stuff. So I think that's the culture, or I won't say walkabout, but like. I mean, that's more Aboriginal, but we go out and they love hiking, and I'm like, and I love hiking too. I am an LA city boy though, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to be comfortable. I need to be comfy.
yeah,
I'm not doing that whole like, oh, I have one backpack and I'm going to peruse the mountains and I'm going to find a nice good corner under a tree and I'm going to set up here and I'll make my fire and I'll make my food and like I'm good.
yeah. I figured that out about you a little bit when we were talking about winter and summer, and you were like, "Nah, summer, I need this to get through
Yeah,
summer.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah,
shorts. I'm going to need this if I can't
yeah.
get through." Like, I'm like, okay, all right, city boy here. Yeah, okay,
I'll learn. I'll learn. Listen, a zombie apocalypse.
yeah,
I'll learn. I'll be a animal killing dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I will, but if I don't have to,
yeah.
no, no,
That's
no.
fine. Yeah, if you take a flight, then you take the flight. Yeah, cool. Very
Exactly.
good, very good. All right, last question for you. Would you rather movies at home or movies at the cinema?
Oh, movies in cinema, definitely.
Ooh, that was quick. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. If I have the chance to go to movie cinema, definitely.
Mm,
I mean, it's like the experience. You know what I'm saying? You are distracted at home. First of all, let's be real. You have 10,000 things going on. When you go to a cinema, that's it. It's you, popcorn, and the movies. And not only that, it's like a concert. When you're with people, you're all enjoying something, and you're all collectively energy wise, you guys are all locked in to wanting to get an experience,
mm.
right? As opposed to like maybe someone's at home and someone's like, on a text or oh yeah, yeah, can you rewind that again? I totally missed that. Oh shit, the delivery guy is here. Hold on, let me just go get the door real quick. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of stuff happens. Pause here, pause there, interruptions, all that stuff. Like no. If you want it, like I would love, like I am a movie buff. I'm a cinephile, so I love watching on the big screen the way it's intended, the way it's shot. You can see the details, you can see the work, if it's bad or good. Um, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely theaters.
I think there's something magical about a cinema or theatre experience versus watching it at home. And I think
Yeah.
that our attention spans are also not like what they used to be. Because if my
No.
phone buzzes, like if I'm watching a movie and it's like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie, I'm going to give this movie my attention, I'm, comfy, I've got some snacks and drinks or whatever, and I'm at home and I'm watching it, and then my phone buzzes, or heaven forbid my mother calls and I'm like, oh, okay, press
I
pause
get
and
that.
there it goes, like out the window. There
Yeah.
goes like the next
Yeah.
hour I'm on the phone, like like there goes my movie.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that there's just it's a shared experience as well. Even if you
Yeah.
were to go to the movies alone, like not with friends, you go by yourself to watch a movie, there's still going
Mhm.
to be other people sitting around you, and it's still just being part of that shared experience, I think.
Yeah.
And those
I
big,
go to movies by myself all the time.
oh,
I
I
I
think
I
I think more people should go to the movies by
I I
themselves.
I, I go to concerts by myself, like I love concerts too. I love concerts, love them. And most people are very, you have to get out the house, you got to go somewhere and you have to experience it, right? So I'll have people who like what I like, but I'm a guy who loves all kinds of music. I love punk rock, I love hip hop, I love jazz, I love rock, straight up like classic rock, modern rock. Um, and so like I see all kinds of stuff. Like I'll see like I'll see nice good like I see all kinds of concerts. I love King Gizzard and Lizard King. They are fantastic. I think they're Aussie. I think they're from Ireland. No, Ireland. I think they're from Australia or New Zealand. If they're gonna kill me if they ever see this, sorry boys. I'm obsessed with them because they're so good. But it's King Gizzard and Lizard King, and they are freaking awesome. And I believe they're an Aussie band. They're definitely an Aussie band. And so I love to see them. But a lot of people are like they don't get it. They're like a jam progressive jam band. So I'll just go by myself. I'll be like, wow, I'll go by myself. I'll meet somebody.
Yeah.
Always meet somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, at a movie theater, I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to freaking like I can just be locked in myself. I can eat what I want. I can stretch out what I want. I can leave when I want. I don't have to be beholden to anybody. Although I do love to make a group though. So
What was the last concert you went to?
last concert I went to was called this group called the OCs, and they are a punk rock group based from San Francisco, the OCs.
Mhm.
And there's also then the concert before that was Nico Case. Nico Case is this you should check her out if you do not know who she is. She's fantastic. She has this voice, kind of like a voice akin to Stevie Nicks, I would say. But she's basically a great storyteller. She kind of has a country twinge mixed in with a little bit of indie folk, I would say. Uh, she is magnificent, and I've been following her for a long time. There's a song called "I Wish I Was the Moon Tonight," which was the first song I heard, which got me locked into her.
Cool.
And when was the one before that? And then there's another concert after that.
No kidding. You do go to a fair
Oh,
few
I go to
concerts.
maybe
Yeah.
like seven. I maybe go to seven concerts
Mm,
a year,
yeah.
if that, and festivals too. I'm going to go to Coachella too, so
There you go.
gotta do that.
Well,
Yeah,
who would have thought? If you need music recommendations, people go to Amari. He knows what's up.
come over to Amari. Amari will hook you up with like knowledge, and you could share your knowledge with me, and I would love to experience that. I really would.
I think that's another thing that I'm quite jealous of. We do have concerts here. We do have, but a lot of the bigger music industry, it's American. All of the music that we
Mm,
listen to on the radio, it's all American. Yeah, we get the
yeah,
occasional British, music and things like that here too. And Australia has its own music culture as well. Like we have Australian
mhm,
artists and bands and groups and individuals who
yeah,
tour around Australia and things like that. But the actual, I think, going to see live bands and live music and bigger concerts and festivals, Australia's not definitely not leading the way in that. So when we have, bigger concerts and things like that, again, it's only like three or four of the capital cities in our country, and then they're off to the
right.
next country. So we don't get, I think, as much opportunity to see bigger named bands or artists than you would. I think you've
And
probably.
that sucks because Australia is such a big, broad, energetic place. Like you would think that like there'd be some sort of festival, not near the outback, but like I don't know what the resources are, but I mean, we have Burning Man here, which is in the desert. We have different things that are in the desert, so it's like I don't. And also like I know Drake did something up there not too long ago. He had like a huge thing. I think Taylor Swift came through over there, but it's also what the gatekeepers in your country allow in,
Yeah,
right? So it's sort of like if it's like tinged to the American diaspora of music, like here, like I listen to public radio, this thing called KCRW down here. It's NPR radio, and I get we'll get songs from like all over. They'll do like an international kind of thing.
yeah, sweet.
Songs from Australia, songs from England. Song I have a group called Dina Olgan, which is like a Swedish group that I discovered here. So yeah, so we have but if you listen to more independent media, and that's why I kind of like stray away from the mainstream because the mainstream is capitalistic to me. Mainstream for me is like what can make me money is what I feel when mainstream is. What's going to get people locked in and to spend their money. What is the trend? What is the fire? What is this? Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? That's why people get so burnt out and things kind of keep going. You know,
Yeah,
it's hot. It's not. It's hot. It's not. Because there's just like everyone's trying to get the most money out of one type of fad. I feel.
yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you, 100%. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the kind of music that we get. Like that's sort of all that we get that comes through. We get the big, huge names of come and play pay ridiculous amounts of money to go, and travel to your closest capital city that hopefully the artist that you really want to see will come to from the States is
Yeah.
generally how it
Or
works.
won't cancel and be like, "Oops, sorry guys, I
Yeah.
gotta go." Then there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's
Cool. Well, that's all for our game, which got us super distracted, but I absolutely love it because we've learned a few things. It's been lots of fun, and we've chewed up a lot more of our time. So before I let you go, though, if people want to find out more about you, they want to follow you on social media, what other projects have you got coming up, like that kind of thing, how can people connect with you and hear more about what's going on for you?
Oh man, if you guys will like want to chat, I would love to chat with you. You can find me at Imari Speaks on Instagram. It's Imari Speaks, and then I also have Amari Speaks on TikTok, and Amari Speaks on Blue Sky. I'm probably gonna change it to Amari Williams because I'm gonna do on camera stuff. So I'm gonna make it like Amari Speaks is when I first started with my VO, but then I'm gonna kind of put everything together on that one page for Instagram. So it's Amari Speaks for now. But if it ever changes to Amari Williams, don't worry, that tis I. I have a little blue check mark next to it, so you know it's really me. But yeah, man, drop a line. Ask any kind of questions that you have, and I would love to talk to anyone who's interested in VO or music or whatever.
Awesome. Fantastic. Cool. Mary, well, thank you so much for hanging out today. This has been an absolute blast. It's been so
Oh,
much
you're
fun,
very
and I
welcome.
appreciate you giving up some time to come and have a chat on the pod.
Thanks for like seeking me out. Thanks for thanks for honoring me as being a guest on your show, and I really appreciate it.